So on this week's episode of Be More Super, the podcast, we've got another treat. From working as a publicist to shooting the bad guys on screen, we've got an awesome guest. It's Chad Michael Collins. Chad, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Brian. Pleasure to be here, and what a wonderful introduction. Publicist to shooting the heads off bad guys. What a career change.
Exactly, and I'm sure we're going to find out exactly how that happened. But before we do, I always check in with our guests to find out, how the last 2 years have been for you during the pandemic and how you've kept positive and moving forwards.
Well, it has been a couple of years, hasn't it? Like everyone else, I experienced my ups and downs in terms of the lockdown and the global pandemic and whatnot. But we're in a great place. I think we've all learned how to adapt and to make the best out of an otherwise tricky situation. So, year one of the lockdown was it was actually very fun. Unfortunately, the entertainment industry really shut down. However, I took up to streaming on Twitch, playing, Call of Duty online with fans and friends all around the world. So I learned a lot about that world and how to stream and kind of added a new tool to my toolbox, so to speak, and had a lot of fun with that and continue to do that to this day. So, but last year, it felt like the industry really figured out how to adapt to COVID properly. And so I was very fortunate to work on several films all throughout last year. So expecting bigger and better this year. And I'm continuing to work on movies and I'm continuing to Twitch stream. So onward and upward.
And looking from your IMDb page, you're very, very busy. So I'm sure we'll have a little chat about future projects. So I've read somewhere in an interview that you referred to yourself as an accidental actor. Please explain what does that term accidental actor mean?
I've had a weird journey up until this point, and I was a journalism major in college. I came out to Los Angeles. I started working as an assistant to a Hollywood publicist, more or less, representing TV and film actors and entertainers. So I had kind of an introduction to the business side of the entertainment industry first, working from the publicity end and working hand in hand with agents, managers, people at networks and studios, and all those kind of executives and those brass. So acting is something I just kind of fell into at the suggestion of a lot of people I met in the industry along the way who encouraged me to take a class, try it on for size. And I just really had a lot of fun with it and just treated it like a side hobby for a long time. But, a couple of Hallmark movies later and a couple of, low budget indie horror films later, there was something I really enjoyed about it and had a lot of fun. So I really, after a movie called Lake Placid 2, which was a really fun opportunity for me as a young actor, I decided to really kind of double down and see where this could lead. And, many years later, I left that kind of office job, salaried position to pursue the acting full time. And I'm happy to say that I'm still doing that to this day. So, happy accident, I suppose.
And I've got to say, Lake Placid 2 is a wonderful film. John Snyder is a friend of the show, and he's just a top guy. And, the first one was good. The second one, in my opinion, is better. So thank you for starring in that one. So you were born in New York, and you decided, to become a publicist and then move to LA. I mean, what really, tickled your fancy when it come down to being a publicist? Because it's quite an obscure job, I suppose.
Yeah, it was really being in upstate New York. I went to college at the great Ithaca College in upstate New York. They had an LA based internship program, and they had a lot of alumni out there in the entertainment industry. Ithaca has a great film school and had been sending graduates out there for a number of decades at that point. So I said, this sounds fantastic to be able to spend a semester, not quite abroad, but at least on the other side of the coast from New York. You let's learn very quickly that as a journalism major, writing for a newspaper, in the middle of nowhere was not that appealing to me. And Los Angeles had all the appeal in the world. It's sunny here year round. It's amazing. The entertainment industry is exciting. There's sports, TV, movies. Everything about it was extremely appealing to me. So, I spent a semester in college out in LA getting the lay of the land, and I interned with the Publicist that I had eventually hired me on. So it was really fun, and kind of came together. I didn't single out publicity in particular, but that's kind of where my skill set led me towards, and the opportunity opened up. And but it was really fun, being able to write and to create and to deal with media and press and stuff like this is really it was a great training ground for my future career as an actor, and it was a lot of fun, and introduced me and exposed me to a lot of really cool things in the industry.
And what advice would you give someone like myself that to deal with publicists? What is the secret? Because you get some lovely ones, and then you get some ones that just say, no, sorry, we're going to politely pass. Is there a secret around the publicist? Is there anything that we can do?
What a great question. You want to deconstruct the process more or less. I mean, look, sometimes it just comes down to, clients' tastes, and trust me, we saw all sorts of clients when I worked, with the Publicist. And there's just some people who they took on a publicist because it was a good investment for their career, but they hated doing interviews and just were very busy. So they couldn't do all the requests and really only wanted to do, interviews of this type or that type or whatever. So, but in terms of dealing with publicists, I really, I think that the more you can kind of sell them on the value and prop up their clients, I think that flattery will get you somewhere in an industry like that. And we all know the entertainment industry is full of egos that perhaps like to be stroked. So that's a good bit of advice, I suppose.
Awesome. I'll take that on board. So you moved to LA to follow this route of being a publicist. What was your first impressions of LA? Because I've never been there. I've been all over the East Coast, but they say that the streets are paved with gold. Is LA really like that? And did it disappoint, or did it fill those dreams of yours?
If there's some gold paved streets, I haven't found them, and I've been out here, pushing 2 decades now. But I'll keep an eye out and let you know. I mean, LA was a blast. I'm very active. I've always loved to play sports and be outdoors. And LA is a place where you can do that year round. And I still enjoy that aspect of the city to this day. But just LA is wonderful in that it's not as harsh as a New York City. And not as claustrophobic as in New York City. I mean, in 2 hours, you could be on top of a mountain skiing. In 2 hours, you could be south of the border in Mexico, or up in wine country in Los Angeles. So it's really wonderful and diverse in that way. But it's also, there's such a diversity of people. I always tell people, you'll come to LA and you'll find your tribe. Whatever you're into, whatever you're about. This is such a city of transplants, that you will find, your people, your niche, your tribe is, for lack of a better term, you will find the people that are into what you're into, and I'm into all sorts of fun, wacky stuff, anything from Dungeons and Dragons to, playing in, sports leagues and stuff, weekend warrior type stuff. And, I found it all in LA, and it's really an amazing place to experience. And you just can't beat the weather. You can't.
And you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons, and do you know what? I've got loads of friends that's into it, and the only thing that I liked about Dungeons and Dragons was the cartoon that was out when I was a kid, because it's so complicated. I don't know how you managed to do it. It might be simple for some, but I've got a 20-year-old son, and he was into his Pokemon cards, D&D. And Dota and all that lot. And I think I'm getting to that age now where, I just want simpler things. But, when you were starting out as an actor, how difficult realistically is it to make it as an actor? Because you've obviously done loads of, great projects. I mean, at any point, did you find it really difficult and you thought, do you know what, maybe this is not for me?
the interesting thing about this industry is, there's no real handbook. That you don't show up in
Mhm.
LA and it's welcome to LA. You want to be an actor, follow these three simple steps. Like there's nothing like that out there. So my I kind of got into the entertainment industry, through the back door, more or less. I was just introduced to a lot of people in the industry. I understood a lot how the business worked, from the business end of things, which is obviously something that they don't teach you in an acting class. You're kind
Mm.
of left to your own devices to figure out how to be your own business and how to navigate the landscape of the entertainment industry as an actor. So it can be tough. There's a lot of actors out here, and there's not as many TV, film, video game projects to hire everybody. So I find that the people who are very clear on what they want as an actor, why they want it as an actor, always stay inspired, always stay motivated, keep on the path, and it really is about perseverance and determination, and to let the nose slide off your back, and there's going to be a lot of no's. It's like being a door-to-door salesman, man. Like, what is it, 99% rejection? That's kind of what you look at in the entertainment industry, and there's no wrong way to go about it. There's certain things you can do to kind of increase your chances of success, and that's everything from training to networking, to this, that, and whatever. And creating your own content now is easier than ever, which didn't exist when I first started out here. But I find that the people that are in it for the right reasons, just always have that determination, that perseverance, and they find a way, and it's great. But the nice thing is too is LA ain't everything anymore. This is a global industry. It's
Mm.
markets have sprung up all around this country. You can go to New Mexico and have a successful acting career. Atlanta is a huge hotbed.
Mm.
Um, Gosh, the southeast region in particular, Louisiana, you can go to any number of these places and find work perhaps easier, as a good trained actor. And LA is just the place for me, and I'm happy to be able to make it all work out here. But for sure, I would never be opposed to going somewhere else to keep pursuing my dreams. And there's so many options available for people,
Mm.
which is really, really great. And I've had a lot of friends move from LA and have much greater success in Atlanta, and it's a really cool thing to see.
Mm, and you've got that sun all year round, so you're very lucky with that. So my next question was about auditions. I mean, do you enjoy them, or are they just a pain in the backside, and just part of the process?
It's If you're gonna be an actor, you got to make peace with the audition, man. There's no two ways about it. You're always gonna have to have skin in the game, and that means auditioning, no matter what. It's weird because of COVID, like you brought up earlier. All auditions have moved to the self tape, so recording it from home off your iPhone, submitting it electronically. There's hardly ever a chance to meet anybody in person anymore, and understandably so. Sometimes, if people are interested in you, they'll set up some kind of a Zoom audition, which is an absolute technical nightmare, as you can imagine. But I've never minded the audition process because I got into this racket for the fun of it. I was never so serious about it. I had the white collar job. I was doing just fine, and this was just something I was pursuing on the side because I enjoyed it and I was curious about, learning more and how to be better at it. So really, it's fun. I do miss it. I miss the in-person audition. It's nice to be able to
Mm.
relate to another human being and to have that real-time feedback, and really focus on the creative elements of acting, in real time with a real person. You can't replace that experience. So, but,
Mm.
like I said before, we've all had to adapt and roll with the changes, so to speak. But I've never had a problem with auditions, and I've kind of weirdly changed my mindset to enjoy them as much as possible, and that still probably exists for me to this day.
And what's been your worst audition and your best audition?
Oh my, oh my. Oh man, there were some auditions early on, where I was just so nervous that it was an absolute disaster. You just staring down at your page because you can't recall the words from memory, and just total lack of experience. And but I mean, you have all sorts of experiences. You're in there with wonderful casting directors who really are pulling for you and cheering for you and trying to give you the notes to help you succeed and bring something fun that they can present to their employers, the producers, the directors, and what have you. But then there's been experiences where, and every actor will probably have these along the way where, you're going in there, you're doing their thing, and someone doesn't even look up from their computer screen while you're, reading to no one, and so
Wow.
it's you get all types and all kinds, and that's it's been very, very enriching, because if you can weather the storm and develop a thick skin on the audition circuit, I mean, there's really not much of a social situation you can't handle. So it's really good life training on top of everything else. But there's been so many over the years, and I'm grateful for all of them. It's like what, Conor McGregor always says: you either win or you learn, and that's kind of
Definitely
the journey as an actor.
Definitely. And then with your career, have you got a life plan in the way that, you've got certain actors that you'd love to perform with on screen, or certain directors that you'd love to be directed by?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I get asked that, from time to time. And, I have my favorites. I've always loved the movies by David Fincher. Fight Club is one of my favorite movies of all time. Seven and stuff like this. I mean, Taika Waititi, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He's just a super visionary, and I just love his stuff. From the Thor Ragnarok to Jojo Rabbit and all the cool stuff he does.
Oh, that's awesome.
James Gunn. Yeah, I mean, I was a huge J.J. Abrams fan when I was in college. Alias, the show on ABC with Jennifer Garner hit. That was one of my favorite all-time shows. So there's a lot of people that I'd love to work with, learn from, experience. Clint Eastwood. I grew up on Clint Eastwood movies and the stuff he directed later in his career. So there's a big old list, and it definitely keeps growing. But there's so many talented, amazing people out there, and hopefully one day I get to rock out on set with them.
Well, you got plenty of time in you, so who knows? I mean, Clint Eastwood, he's still going. At his age, he's still directing, so who knows? But me personally, I've always been a Michael Bay fan. I absolutely love 13 Hours is one of my favourite movies. I think it's just stunning. And I've had Mark Geist, who was the Marine that was in the actual that it's based on, and I've had Max Martini that played him on screen as well. And I just absolutely love anything army and everything like that. But we talk about Tom Berenger. As a kid, I can remember, correct me if I'm wrong, 1993 was Sniper, which was an outstanding movie with Billy Zane. And then obviously he went on to do so many movies. Well, he did Platoon, he did The Substitute, which I thought was awesome. And obviously then he passes the mantle to you. So you are now starred in your fifth Sniper movie. What was it like being passed that mantle from Tom Berenger to you to carry on that franchise? Because that must have been amazing.
I tell you what, I grew up on the original Sniper movie, and I have very, very vivid, very visceral, fond memories of watching that movie on, cable networks when I was younger. So I was a huge fan of him, obviously. And you left out a Major League. That was a movie that I loved growing up with Tom Berenger.
Of course, yes.
Baseball comedy. So obviously I was a huge fan, and the opportunity to kind of step into the shoes and play his son, in the reboot of the Sniper franchise that he originated. I mean, it's such a blessing and such an honor, and to work with Billy and to work with Tom over the years. And I mean, it's just, you can learn so much from hearing their stories, and watching them work on set. So that's been, really, really, really a beautiful feather in my cap, so to speak. And we're still going strong. Hopefully we've got one coming out here soon, but Sniper Assassin's End was released in 2020, and it's still doing great around the world. It just debuted for Netflix in the UK and Ireland, and I topped out at number 2 most watched within days of its premiere on the Netflix platform over there across the pond. Yeah. So really, really cool to see. It's a lot of fun. And, I always made the joke that I'd love to get of a certain age, Sniper 47, where I get to pass on the long gun to my protege. So we'll see if that ever happens. But so far, so good. And
Mm.
it's just wonderful fans around the world who love the Sniper franchise. So we plan on making as many as we can.
And it's very technical, I've got to say, and there's a lot of, certain things that you do. I mean, what sort of training did you go through? Because, I'm sure there's actual snipers out there that are watching it going, yeah, this is all right. This is actually spot on. I mean, obviously, I know Hollywood, they've got like a bit of license to go off a bit. But I mean, what sort of training did you do? Because did you go to boot camp? Did you learn how to use the rifle? I mean, what sort of training did you do for the role?
I'll tell you what, if this was a Michael Bay film with a Michael Bay budget, for sure, I would have been able to go to some kind of a really fun 2-week boot camp because there would have been the time and there would have been the resources to do that. Unfortunately, we make these movies at an absolute fraction of the budget that Michael Bay has to play with. So, we always have really wonderful technical advisors, and over the years, a lot of our technical advisors have been former military at a very high level. A guy named Patrick Garrity came on for one of the movies. He was a former Marine Scout sniper, very, very helpful, very knowledgeable, obviously. And I stick to these people like glue because you want to get it right, and you are representing people that do a very, very hard job, a very important job. So you want to have the authenticity, and it's like you said, it's the military crowd loves to watch these movies. But they'll also criticize things when they are way off, as they should, so we do try to get it right as much as possible. But like you said, there's some things where you just have to suspend your disbelief. Sometimes, the stock of that rifle is like in your face and blocking your eye, but the camera's here, and so you kind of got to do this. And, and I'm sure that makes the military men and women, servicemen and women cringe, but, they're trying to get the shot because they like that background better and the light's coming from here. So it's, at the end of the day, if you have to take a little flack because you're trying to make movie magic, you have to take that on the chin. But for the most part, people enjoy those movies and kind of are not too critical of them. And we do strive to obviously get it as right and as accurate as possible.
Mm. And the action in it is just fantastic. I mean, if we talk about Assassin's End, the fight scenes, I just think are so well choreographed. I mean, how much work goes into, choreographing a fight like that? And do you ever get injured? And how much fun is it?
It's fun. I do get injured. That's just kind of you'll ask any proper stunt person, which I'm not a proper stunt guy by any means. But it's like injuries come with the territory, and if you want to do action movies and or stunts, that's just going to happen. And, you just got to be able to roll with that and be comfortable with that. But Sniper Assassins End, the fights came out wonderful. We're very fortunate to have an amazing team of stuntmen and women, and Brett Chan and his company, Hits International. He does shows like Warrior. He's worked in the Netflix Marvel universe, choreographing shows, stunts. So we were extremely lucky to have him. And me and, the majority of our fights was between me and Sayaka Akimoto, who's our wonderful Japanese actress who starred in Sniper Assassins End with us. So it was me and her, and we probably put in an additional, 15 to 20 hours into our fight sequences, as just being ready on the day to be able to do the darn thing. And I think it turned out really, really, really well. But, you're going to get your bumps, you're going to get your bruises, you're going to hit your head on the rock, you're going to take a tumble, you're going to make contact with each other on a punch or a kick, and, unintentionally, and it's just going to happen. So the main goal is not to get a concussion and keep all your teeth in your head. And try not to get cut so bad that you bleed out all over the place and you need stitches. So other than that, you just got to go for it.
And as long as it looks good on camera, that's all what matters. So starting out when you started your first, which was Sniper Reloaded, did you get any advice from Tom Berenger, or starting out with Lake Placid? I mean, did you get any advice from John Snyder? I mean, did any of them, because they have been around for donkey's years, have they given you any words of wisdom?
I never got to meet Tom. He wasn't in Sniper Reloaded. That was I was working with Billy Billy Zane, who I found to be really just a charming and wonderful guy, and we're still friends with him to this day. But yeah, I mean, really, working with John Schneider and Cloris Leachman and Lake Placid too. I'm more of a sponge, and I'm kind of more. I like to just observe and watch what they do, watch how they do, see if there's things I can pick up and this, that, whatever else. But there's been amazing actors who give me great advice over the years, and there's been the share of actors where you're like, okay, I don't want to end up like this, kind of thing. So both lessons serve you very well. What you want to move towards and what you want to stay away from. So I'm very grateful for both of those experiences as well. But there's been a number of actors over the year who've been very, very helpful and who I've learned a lot from just by watching them do what they do.
Yeah, I think the first scenes that you had with Tom was in Legacy, wasn't it? I do apologise, it wasn't Reloaded, it was Legacy. So obviously, you use quite a lot of guns on set, and I just wanted to get from your opinion, because unfortunately, not long ago, there was a tragic accident with a gun on set. I mean, being around so many weapons, firearms, do you feel the procedure is safe on set? And do you think that the events that occurred with Alec Baldwin, do you think that's going to have a knock-on effect with how films are filmed in the future with firearms?
I mean, personally, I haven't. And a total tragedy on that set. And I had done a movie called Rock Monster for Sci-Fi Channel network, and I got to work with the late great John Polito. John Polito starred in the movie The Crow, and there was a tragic accident on The Crow, as we all know. Brandon Lee was killed with a gun on set as well, and so it's a lot of more details are coming out about that, and there's a lot of speculation about a lot of things. But I know personally, I haven't even shot a blank round in a gun in years on an action movie set, on a film set. I think that visual effects can really fill that gap. Obviously, they're safer, and if you can sell it just as well doing that and keep safety in mind, it's a good way to go. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that going forward. Of course, I have certainly, done my fair share. You can't be in a movie called Sniper and not have shot lots of rounds of, blank ammo over the years. And I certainly have done that. But I grew up around guns. I was very fortunate at a young age to get a real education, with guns and have the proper safety training and the awareness. And that's what it is. That's really, being conscious that, a gun is not a toy, and you just always have to treat it like it's loaded. Never wave it around, never, and I've seen all kinds. I've seen people who are really conscious and very careful on sets, and I've seen actors who don't have that training or education about guns. And even though they're completely empty, there's bad habits, and they're waving it across people, which is a number one no-no. Always treat it like it's loaded. And I think that there's a lot of fear about guns, and fair enough. But that a lot of that comes from people not knowing and having the education and the safety training, because they can absolutely be safe, of course, if you understand the dangers of them and can work backwards from that. So, but like I said before, we haven't shot a blank round in any of these movies in so long, and it's if it's not necessary, it's not necessary, and I'm totally fine with that. And I think that that's just one way to ensure that people are safe going forward, no matter the level of experience. So, I think we will see a lot more of that, and rightfully so.
Yeah, my takeaway from what you've just said is that it's not the weapons at fault, it's the people, it's the education. And being in England, we don't have guns, and I think the only thing that I've shot here is a 2.2 target rifle, and that's it. I have been to a gun range in the States, and it scared the living bejeebers out of me, honestly. But I suppose it's the people that needs to be addressed. But going over your sniper movie, are we going to have another installment? Come in. Is there any news on the next one?
There's not much I can say. Obviously, we do our sniper franchise for Sony Pictures, the wonderful folk over there. So When they say it's time to say something and reveal something, that's when it's time. So I can't say very much. I can tease that something is in the works, and
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be able to share more with everyone later. But there are plans to keep things going. So I hope that those plans come to fruition. We've got more stuff to put out there for the wonderful sniper fans around the world.
That would be awesome. And then we talk about Call of Duty, which I think is a franchise that has been going for so many years and it's got a following globally. And you play the lead. And I've got to say, Call of Duty has gone, just better and better with each title in the way of the story. It's like a mini movie, at the beginning. What was that like working on Call of Duty? Because you play Alex Echo 3-1, and it's got to be an obscure experience because your likeness. I think I've got an image here that I'm going to put on the screen, which is awesome. The likeness. If you could talk me through what the experience was like, and how on earth did they get the character looking so much like you? I'm loving the moustache, by the way. I think you should keep that.
That was my first comment, was that, I was very pleased to see the final version of Alex, which is right there on the screen. I got a huge digital mustache upgrade, and that was free. So thank you, Infinity Ward and Activision, for that. That's pretty sweet, because I can't really grow one myself all that well. So I'll tell you what, Call of Duty, it's one of the best projects I've ever been a part of, for a number of reasons. The filming of it, the amazing people at Infinity Ward, which is the studio that put it all together, the development team, also hooked me up with this great T-shirt. Rock on, guys! Really wonderful people. A year plus long filming experience with incredible actors, including Barry Sloane and Elliot Knight, who are from your home country. Really wonderful people to act with. And it was a great experience, and it being a reboot of Modern Warfare. I had played the original Modern Warfare games. There was a trilogy. The last one was like 2011. So when I heard that I was in a Call of Duty game, A, and B, it was going to be a soft reboot of the Modern Warfare, franchise, I was, through the, roof to be able to play a lead in a game like this, because I had grown up playing it. I had loved those games. So it was really a lot of fun. And on the back end, you're not prepared for how big, these games are and how global they truly are, especially with they've introduced the Battle Royale component now, Warzone, which I still love playing. It's really incredible. I mean, I just remember when our game was being launched, like seeing the commercials everywhere, Football Sunday, just endless Call of Duty commercials, billboards and bus wraps everywhere about it. And you're not prepared for how big it really is, until you start to see it, and then you start to see the players, and there are just literally tens of millions of players. I think Warzone has, 100 million players globally, worldwide at this point. And so, you can't really wrap your tiny peanut brain around, the magnitude of a figure like that. And it's been fun, because obviously our game came out a couple of years ago. It was critically and commercially successful, which is all you can hope for, but to be able to keep playing with fans on the back end and connect with them and get to know them no matter what country they live in, to be able to slap on a headset and interact with these people all around the world who love this game that you're in, it's been a real joy and a real pleasure, and it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving.
And you play the game while on Twitch, and I've got to say, I've got admiration, because when I'm playing a game and my wife's trying to talk to me, I can't talk to her and play the game. So I don't know how these Twitch streamers and yourself can actually play a game and talk at the same time. I mean, is that something you've learned over time, or is that just a natural talent?
I'll tell you what, once we drop in, into the battlefield, it's really about, I keep it just to communicating with my teammates, because that's what you got to do if you're going to have any chance to win ever. So I kind of let the chat just ride, and then, in between the breaks, in between matches, is when I can kind of go in and interact with people. But it's funny, because when I was doing press promoting Modern Warfare, I did an amazing interview with this journalist who literally played the campaign, the game, for 2 hours straight while doing a full interview with me. And I was blown away. I was like, I don't know how you do this, because he was crushing it
Wow.
at the game, also engaging with me, asking questions about this, that, and whatever else. And it just blew my mind. I'm not that kind of a gamer. I'm like you. I can't have all that going on and hope to do well in the game. So props to him. He's a proper gamer. I'm an amateur at best.
And any more plans on doing any more voice work? Because I know you voiced a book recently as well, an audio book. But is there any more plans for any more computer games or any more voiceovers?
I hope so. I really, obviously, I'd love the opportunity to keep doing anything Alex related, Call of Duty related. They put the character in Call of Duty Mobile not too long ago, and which has been really fun and introduced me to a whole new group of gamers who love to play off their phones, which are, really incredible people around the world. But I love it, man. I grew up on video games, ever going back to the old school Nintendo. And so I love, the voiceover world, the animated world. I love the video game world. So that's the funny thing about this industry is, people think, oh my God, you were Alex in Call of Duty. You must have your choice of this. And I'm like, well, no one's calling me about the GI Joe cartoon they're going to spin up on Netflix. Unfortunately, it's you get back on the circuit, you pound the pavement, and you try to line up the next one and the next one and the next one, and nothing is guaranteed, and nothing is a given in this industry. So I hope to do more. I love the world. I love the space. I've been a fan of it since I was a boy. So I really, really do hope that more opportunities come in those arenas, because I adore them, and I still play them to this day.
And talking about your T-shirt, I'm sure that you've got plenty of perks. After doing the role of the role of Alex. Did you get a big box sent to you on release day? I mean, did you get any goodies from the company?
I got this T-shirt from the development team, incredibly talented people at Infinity Ward, which is really cool. They did send me kind of this Warzone anniversary poster, which as you can tell, I still have to get up on the dang wall. So it's kind of like hiding behind my TV back there. But I mean, not really. I'm not a guy that's really kind of asked for all the free stuff. They're amazing people over there and whatever else. But I bought the game with my own money, and when I want to buy the new battle pass for season 1 or season 2, or I want to get like that operator skin, for Alex, I plunk down like everyone else, which a lot of people have found endearing, but it's like, I'm a gamer. I'm gonna buy it anyway. I'm just like you. I love this stuff, and I bought. The game after ours was Black Ops Cold War, Call of Duty. I bought that one. I just bought Vanguard, and I'm making friends with the actors that are in that and playing online with them as well. So, I'm a big fan of this stuff. So really, the perks are great, of course, when you can get them. But I'm not waiting for them to send me stuff. I'm hitting buy and getting that game when I want to be able to play it. So
well, you've got to support the franchise, haven't you? You've got to support it. You've got to invest in it, because that is how it develops. It's like people that stream movies illegally. I just think that's completely wrong, because you've got to buy the movie, you've got to rent it, because that is how these companies will get the money back, so they can make more movies. And so yeah, I'm completely against that. But talking about your fans, your fan base is just incredible. It really is. So not only have you got the fan base from Sniper, Call of Duty, and your other projects, I mean, has your approach to your fan base changed from when you were starting out to now? I mean, how much, appreciation is there for them?
I mean, look, Call of Duty. When Call of Duty hit, obviously, it introduced me to a whole new world of fans, of gamers, and friends I've made over these past few years. But I love them. I'm not, I'm not a Kardashian. I'm not sitting on millions of followers or anything like that. My following is drawn down to scale, but they're fantastic, and they're incredibly loyal and incredibly kind and appreciative and supportive. And I love to engage with them because I'm all about the good stuff. There's enough trolling and enough hate out there on the internet. So I keep it light, I keep it positive, I keep it encouraging, and they're all game for that. So we have a really good time, and it's a love fest, and I try to set it up that way because that's just who I try to be in everyday life. So they're incredible, and I've always appreciated their support, to be able to welcome in all the Call of Duty people into my experience. It's just fun because you see the people that are they start off playing Call of Duty, and now they're engaging and maybe playing some games online with an actor, who's one of the characters in the game. And then they go and buy the Sniper movies, and they find out like, wow, I never knew about these. I really enjoy them. Or the Sniper fans pick up and play Call of Duty for the first time, and some have taken it to the next level and begun streaming themselves. So it's been really, really cool. The one hand has kind of washed the other with that stuff, and it's been a lot of fun to see. And I know it's served me well and introduced me to some amazing people around the world.
And do you feel that there is a level of responsibility as well, because you've got so many followers, of what you put out there, of what you post? I mean, is that scary at times?
Yeah, I think you just have to, you got to have your own boundaries and your clear understanding. I'm very clear about, how I want to use my social media, and what I want to put out there. I'm very conscious about it. Really, I have no interest in getting way over there about agendas and the things that I'm overly passionate about. I stay away from religion, I stay away from politics, I stay away from hot button things. My social media I use as a tool to promote and encourage people to check out my projects, my acting career, stuff like this. Let them know that I'm streaming on Twitch. You want to get a game in, come on and join us. Let's have some fun. I love to be able to talk about D&D and boxing and other stuff that I'm really, really into. So I'm very clear and I'm very specific about how and why I use social media. I think it's an amazing platform to put out positivity and appreciation and love in the world, and to support people and encourage people to pick each other up and to uplift other people. So that's why I'm on there. That's what I use it primarily for. You have to have the boundaries about your private life and what you're comfortable putting out there. So as long as I think you're clear and specific about it, and why you're there and why you're using it and what you hope to achieve by it, you won't run afoul of being canceled. But if you're full of keyboard courage and you want to just type first and never think and then hit send, well, enjoy your backlash on Twitter. It's up to you really what you want this to do.
They always say when you type a message, you should really stop, take like 10-15 seconds, reread it, and then send it, because it may be the wrong thing. But from what I can see from your social media, you, sir, you're an ambassador of positivity. And I think that's great to see. And your way of giving back is Cameo, which you do, which I think is awesome. I mean, how great is Cameo? Do you enjoy doing them? And have you had any very bizarre requests yet?
Yeah, Cameo is a cool platform. I really, every once in a while, someone will hit me up and they just want a video, or they're giving a gift to a fan of Call of Duty, or, family member who loves the Sniper movies. And so it's just, it's personal messages, and sometimes tailored towards a birthday or for Christmas or this, that, or whatever. Or, just sometimes it's people who are just feeling a little down and would like a couple of words of encouragement from someone they're a fan of. And I think it's a really cool platform. And, because of the success of Sniper and Call of Duty, there's a lot of international fans, and it's hard for them to maybe get an autographed picture sent all the way, to Southeast Asia. But Cameo is great. It's digital. It's off a phone that everybody has. So it's a great way to connect to people and let them have something unique and personal. And so I've always enjoyed doing it. I think it's really, really fun. And it's about them. So I just, I'm not there to make $1 million on Cameo. I'm there to just make something available. So, you try to keep the prices low, and you try to encourage people to check it out and walk away with something uniquely that's their own, especially if they live across the world. So I always have a lot of fun with that, and I always welcome. But there are some interesting ones they want me to, basically be Alex in Call of Duty. And I did one for a best man who was surprising his best friend who was, getting married. And, I was Echo 3-1 in that video, and, put a little script together and just kind of read it for him and stuff. And he gave it to his buddy who loved it, so it's really fun. I love the creativity with it too.
And then before we wrap up this wonderful interview, your future projects, we've got one called Assailant that, if no one's seen the trailer yet, check it out. It's on YouTube. It's absolutely amazing. If you could tell us a bit about the movie and a bit of what you can, because I know obviously you can and can't say certain things. So in a nutshell, a bit about the movie that's coming out soon.
Yeah, I actually was just able to watch a screener, and it's really good, and it's really, really fun. And it's a British director, Tom Payton, directed this amazing film starring me, Casper Van Dien. Oh, there we go. There's an image. Me and Casper Van Dien, and the veteran actor Jeff Fahey, who's an amazing actor that I was a huge fan of as well. And Poppy Delevingne plays my love interest, my wife in this movie, and it's basically us on a couple on the verge of divorce, and we try to go back to where all the magic started, and we go on a tropical island, and we kind of run afoul of a guy who has some very, very, very rigid standards that I unfortunately violate, and so he basically spends the rest of the movie stalking us and trying to teach me a lesson, more or less. I'll leave it vague. So Casper Van Dien in a role you've never seen him do before. He's fantastic in this. He plays the main antagonist in this movie, and just kicked the crap out of me for 16, 17 straight days, which was a pleasure. Thank you, Casper. So I heard that it's there was an announcement not too long ago that Redbox had bought the domestic rights to our film, so it'll be coming from them on their platforms, and of course in their kiosks and whatever else. I don't know what the international plan is. I've heard spring, maybe Marchish for a release on this. I don't have confirmation yet, but I should know something soon, and we could put it out there. But the movie turned out really, really well. It's a kind of like a daytime psychological thriller horror action movie. It's very unique and very cool, and Tom did an amazing job putting this movie together.
And I've got to say, the trailer, especially when Casper says apologize to her, which is the tagline for the poster, honestly, it's so haunting and so scary. I think that sets the tone of what the movie is going to be like. So it looks absolutely amazing. But I'll just take this off, and I've got to say, Chad, you've been a great guest. It's been great to catch up with you and chat a bit about Sniper Modern Warfare. How can fans follow you on social media?
Social media, come party with us on Twitch. It's a lot of fun over there. And if you're a Call of Duty player, I love to try and, take once, twice a week, 3 hours and just play with you, pull people from the chat and just get into some games with them, which has always been a blast. But that's twitch.tv/Chad Michael Collins. Instagram and Twitter is @CollinsChadM, and Facebook is facebook.com/Chad Michael Collins. So always welcome new faces over at any of those platforms.
That is awesome. And Twitch, you can watch on near enough any device. So I'm sure you'll have plenty of viewers. But thank you so much, Chad. You've been a great guest. Look after yourself. Keep safe. And I look forward to Assailant and all your other projects to come.
What a great chat, Brian. Thank you so much for having me.